Good morning, Steve Freed in Chicago with the Morning Grain Comment. Well, behind me is a field of corn in northern Illinois, which is close to my home, and so I will continue to try to maybe 2 weeks show this picture and how the corn crop is growing, and maybe by the end of the year find out from the farmer what the yield was and what his yield expectations were. Overnight prices are higher. We still have this volatile back and forth marketplace depending upon which weather model you look at. The Canadian and the European model, which we feel is more reliable, continues to talk about dry weather over the next 2 weeks across parts of the upper Midwest, the Northern Plains, and the Canadian prairies. The American model, which comes out every 6 hours, continues to be wet for those areas. So European model is trying to bring in maybe a few light showers at the end of the 10-day time frame, but not enough to help soils or the crops there. We also note that down in Argentina, it's dry. That may be slowing some of the winter wheat planting down there, but mostly the dryness is in Cordoba. Brazil is still dry. It looks like Russia will have a ridge in the spring wheat areas, and eastern China remains dry. So these areas of the world that are dry is not ideal to bring the 2021 crops up to levels to satisfy the demand. Yesterday we saw ethanol production up, but stocks also increased. But we think that driving this summer is going to increase the demand for ethanol and increase demand for corn. The lower Brazil crop should help U.S. corn exports. On the export side, today we expect low bean and wheat export sales. New crop corn sales are not going to be as good as last week, but we still feel that what's on the books will get shipped, especially to China. We also hear that Ukraine has sold 9.5 million tons of corn old crop to China and somewhere between 5 and 7 million tons of new crop. We also note that domestically there is a little bit of washing out of some trains of corn domestically. I think that the crushers for corn have good coverage maybe through August, and the exporters need the corn but may not be available by rail to the barge loading areas. And so you have a big, relatively big spread between maybe some of the western basis levels, eastern basis levels, and the river basis levels. We'll see if this washing out has the impact on the July set corn spread. So again, I believe the path of least resistance is still higher. I think next Monday will be critical as far as what the weather forecast is and where prices go into the USDA June 10th report. I don't expect the USDA to make big changes on the June 10th report. I expect them to wait another 30 days to see what kind of weather U.S. has, and maybe higher acres could bail them out of the situation that they have in which supply does not equal demand for 21-22. And then on June 30th, we get the most critical report of June, when we get revised acres and also grain stocks as of June 1st. As always, these are my thoughts and not those of ADM Investor Services. Have a safe and profitable trading day. And remember, always treat people like you yourself would like to be treated.